Hello and welcome to Beyond the Headlines, where we connect you to the community through the Journal Tribune. I'm your host, Justin Chenette, and we have two great guests today. We have Kate Scamman, who's a licensed real estate agent at Berkshire Hathaway, and we have Linda Valentino, who I think some people might know as a former state senator and state representative for 12 years in the legislature, but now she's president of Valentino Development and a licensed real estate broker with Berkshire Hathaway. Welcome to you both.
Hi. Good morning. Good morning, Justin. And first of all, we have to say congratulations, of course, for being the state senator. And I just wanted to say we're extremely proud that you're on the taxation committee. I know there's a lot going on in Augusta with the taxation, and also to be appointed in a very plum position to the Senate Ethics Committee. I'm sure that shows a very high regard for you and your abilities, and to listen to both sides of the issue, to be appointed to that committee. That's quite an honor. So
it should be good. I'm trying to fill your shoes, but it's very difficult.
Oh, well, you're going to do a great job. I am very confident in that.
Well, one thing I've heard over and over again is, what is Linda up to next? What is the next project? I think anytime you spend any time in the public eye, everyone's curious what the next thing is, and it looks like the mother-daughter duo of the real estate world is the next chapter. So let's talk a little bit about how this matches up with your work in the legislature. What is an average week for you guys?
Well, this week has been absolutely incredible. I think that a lot of people are hesitating and waiting to put their house on the market until spring, but what they have to realize is that this is actually spring for real estate right now. It's extremely busy. Running out, getting a new listing. We put a house under contract. We've got an inspection this morning at 10 o'clock after we do the show, and we've got a real estate closing coming up. Got building permits for new houses. So we're running around doing quite a bit, whether we're selling or putting something under contract or looking for listings. It's very, very different than Augusta, but it still has that face-to-face contact with people that we're dealing with.
So you're not taking a break, it seems like.
No, it's great. I love working with my daughter, and Berkshire Hathaway has wonderful people over there. Lisa Willett, Greg Cludia, Christina Cludia, just great people, Guy, Shirley, everybody. It's a great business with a lot of talent and a lot of experience.
Now, Kate, what is it like working with your mom? And you can be honest, this is the 60-minute special right now, but this is a unique situation. You're able to work with your mom in real estate.
It's both the best and obviously worst experience ever.
There's the honesty right there, folks.
Yeah, I mean, I love working. I get along with my mom. Mom's basically my best friend, so it's great. But it's also, you're working with your mother, and there's at times you're just like, ah! You're like,
That's a direct quote, yeah.
So, it's great, and I'm really glad that we do it. And she has such energy and enthusiasm for what she does, and puts in the hard work for everything that she does. So it's great to just kind of have someone to lean on like that. So I'm excited for it.
Sort of like a yin and a yang situation. Yeah.
Yep.
And you have 40+ years experience in real estate, so I'm sure that's helpful to kind of, as Kate mentioned, kind of lean on that experience moving forward.
Right. And as I received my real estate license when I was 19 years old, and I worked with my father, so this is kind of a same thing. Instead of father-daughter, it's a mother-daughter, and been building houses since I was 19, and we're getting back into the construction end of it also, not just listing other people's houses, but doing construction. And Kate's been invaluable on that, picking out styles and decorations, and we've got a new project going on Forest Street.
Oh, well, tell me a little bit about the development side of this. So this is separate from Berkshire Hathaway. This is sort of the Valentino development side of things.
Yeah, so Mom used to do construction and was interested in getting back into construction. We had a vacant lot on Stone Street, so we built a 1,232 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch house on Stone Street. And that was really an invaluable learning experience because I'd never done it before, and Mom had been in the legislature for 12 years, so a lot's changed.
Right. That transition project.
Yeah, and it was a really, really solid transition project and very exciting. Our next project is on Forest Street, which is in Saco. Again, another 3-bedroom I think it's 1.5 bath. But this one we're really focused on a smaller, more efficient living because of gas prices and heating and electric costs. We really wanted to create a small house. So it's an entry-level house for someone who either wants to buy a house for the first time, or they just want to kind of declutter and have less space to maintain. And it's a really cute little project. I'm very excited about it. We're actually pouring the foundation next week, and so it should be on MLS, so it should be up to purchase probably the week after that. And the interesting thing is this time, because we're putting it up so early, we put up the last house basically not until it was finished, because we wanted to go through picking out the colors and working with the subcontractors and everything. And so now, because we're putting it up early, whoever can purchase it would get to pick out their colors. And
so it's more hands-on,
yeah,
rather than after the fact, oh, by the way, here's what you have. Right.
Exactly.
That's interesting. And I noticed that there seems to be a movement, especially with young families, wanting sort of a smaller, more condensed house, kind of smaller living style.
Definitely. There's a lot of really good, there's two trends. There's the smaller houses, and then there's also the idea of income properties, which is referred to as multifamilies. So duplexes, multifamilies, somewhere where you can live and then you can rent it out, which will allow you to pay your mortgage or pay your rent, is really efficient, and a lot of people are going that route as well.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I think we have the biggest thing that we found out is people downsizing. And what we did find out about downsizing, because the house that we had just built was on the Ferry Road, we had a ton of people come in and take a look at the house. And downsizing, to most people with money, is one floor. It's not necessarily a smaller house. They just want it all on one.
No stairs.
Right. They want it all on one floor. They still want the huge master bedroom, the walk-in closets, all that stuff.
So when we thought downsizing, we were like, oh, house under 1,400 square feet. Perfect. Downsizing to a lot of people was just like 12,000, sorry, not 12,000, was like 2,000 square feet on one house. And I'm like, that's not downsizing. That's
just want a ranch.
Yeah. And we also feel like there's a real niche for single buyers or couples that are looking for housing. And they're concerned a lot also about the carbon footprint that they have, about the taxes that they're paying, extremely high taxes, for the real estate and stuff. And I think a lot of people, tiny houses are too small for most people.
I've seen that on TV,
Right.
those little ones.
Yeah, but a small house,
Yeah.
has everything. I mean, what we're doing on Forest Street and what we had done on Stone Street are under 1,300 square feet, but it has it all. It has the mudroom, the first floor washer and dryer, the big kitchen, the open concept. It has it all, but you just don't necessarily need huge bedrooms that you can have couches in and stuff. You need a house that's efficient for you. I mean, when I was growing up, we used to have 24 by 40 ranches, and people would grow up 6 people, 8 people, all with one bathroom in the house, and now all of a sudden it's like we need a bathroom for every child. And I think that trend is reversing now, and we're going to smaller houses. People know that they can live with a little bit less, but they want quality, and that's the key, is to make sure that you put quality in the house.
Right. Now, what is the housing market like? I know one of your home sales and prices surge. I've heard this anecdotally across the community and across the area, that it's like as soon as the house goes on sale, boom! There's more buyers than there are sellers. Is that an accurate reflection of the market right now?
I would say so. There's definitely a lack of inventory, and there is. Yeah, I would say there's definitely a lack of inventory. And I'd say that there's also, with what's going on right now, with people don't know if the interest rates are going to go up or when they're going to go up, there's a certain sense of, let's go look right now where we can still lock in that low interest rate. So there is a sense of kind of buyers are looking to buy
Yeah. We go to open houses when we're not doing our own open house on the weekend, and we went to an open house on the Boom Road the other day. The open house started at 1 o'clock. We got there around 1:15, and there were 25 cars already at 1:15. And this was just a moderately priced tri-level house to show that there are so many people out there. And that's what I'm saying, is that this is kind of the springtime when, if you're sitting out there and you're thinking, oh, I want to list my house, you know, in April or May, now's the time to do it, because this is when everybody comes out from the winter and there's a lot of people. By the time April and May, it weans out a little bit more. So
additionally, if you want to list your house in April and May, starting now, you're pretty much going to have to start now, because are we, in terms of like decluttering the house, in terms of kind of moving out, staging the pictures, going through the market analysis, getting everything ready for the house to show. It's not just as simple as, I'm going to put my house on the market tomorrow.
So let's talk about that. So if somebody out there is at least contemplating the idea at some point putting their house on the market, what tips would you, I mean, you've probably been through this process numerous times with clients. What tips, if they wanted to like sell it this year, what tips, and you mentioned kind of the timeline of all the different things they have to do, what tips you might give them?
The very first thing is that if they're even thinking of selling, they need to know what the price is. And Kate has been doing certified market analysis. We call them CMAs. They're free. And so you just call up, we go through your house, take a look at the house. Kate pulls up a certified market analysis, does it, works on it, gives you all the comps, what has sold in the area, and tells you, first of all, what we think your house is going to sell for. That's what people want to know. How much is my house worth? And there's no obligation. So we can go in, do the CMA, and tell you on the price. The biggest thing I would say on houses are, and we've heard it on all of the HGTV shows, declutter. You have to declutter your house. People want a very streamlined, nice-looking place when they go in, and especially with the photography, the professional photography that some brokers are doing now. You don't want all the knickknacks. You don't want all the stuff. Take everything out. So declutter and do, paint those front steps. Do minor things. Some people are thinking, oh, I have to rip out the kitchen. I have to. No, you don't. Somebody's going to probably come in and do that. And if your house is really bad, there's so many people that will come in and flip your house and redo it over again. So I think,
two anecdotal stories about that is when I actually sold my house last year. And when we did that, Mom and I looked at like storage, because we had to take pictures and get it on the market. And we looked at other stuff, and we ended up buying a hitched trailer. So one of those cargo trailers, and we just literally loaded everything in my house into the trailer.
Oh, geez.
We hitched it to Dad's truck, and it's sitting in the driveway now at my mom and dad's house, because I live with them. And so it's just ready for whenever I go to somewhere else. We're just going to hitch it and move back in. But it's much, but if you have that ability to store it somewhere, it's a lot cheaper than, say, like storing like storage every day. Another anecdotal thing was about the photography. So I take, in a previous life, I did a lot of film and video. And so I take photography for houses and stuff. And there was at one point when we were going through a house last week, and we legit were like picking up knickknacks and moving them out of frame, taking the picture and then moving them back in. Because you want that clean thing. It was like the pictures on the fridge are really sweet, but in like a professional picture, you want that fridge clean.
You want to like depersonalize almost.
Yeah, you really do on houses, and move that stuff out. And even if you don't have the ability to rent a storage locker or buy a cargo trailer, you can always pack it up, put it in your basement, and store it neat and clean or something like that.
And the reason you want to depersonalize it is so that someone can visualize their stuff in it or visualize themselves in it. So if you don't have like the picture frames on the wall, then they can put their picture frames on the wall.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons really to call ahead of time, that we can help you with that, and we have lots of interesting little pamphlets and brochures to tell you, what's worth doing, what's not worth doing. The most important thing is that if the outside of your house doesn't look good, nobody really is going to want to come in and see the inside. So you want to make sure your front entryway is painted, looks nice, the railings are secure, you don't have anything broken, and of course, when the weather gets better, mow your lawn, trim your shrubs.
Landscaping is, people don't think about it, but landscaping is a huge factor because one, if you walk into a house and you see a lot of like bushes and flowers, it can be overwhelming to someone who isn't interested isn't interested in a gardener. Mm. And the other thing is that if you have that stuff in the, you have that stuff on your property, sometimes it just makes the property look bigger if you get rid of some of it. Mm. I mean, I've seen like night and day, you're like, what?
I didn't know they had that much space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, we're working with some sellers now on actually cutting all of the brush and all the trees in front of their property to enlarge it and create more of a view and stuff like that. Things that aren't very expensive but make a big difference when when you're going to sell the property, just to do a little bit of the work outside. And bush hogging. We have our favorite bush hogger now come in and like, okay, Johnny, can you come down and get this bush hog and get it all done and clean it up and stuff.
Put that on a bumper sticker. I like
well,
that.
it's a great way to just kind of get the property out there, so when people drive by, that it looks nice.
Right. Now, if somebody was interested in selling, is there a right time to sell? I mean, you mentioned that right now is sort of like the springtime for the real estate market, and there's a lack of inventory. So is now through a certain time period really the hot time to...
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now is the time to be getting your house on the market, to sell it, because it's the end of the school year. So people are really looking to do something in the spring. The warm weather just makes everybody more vital and more vibrant and alive, and they're out there and they're looking at houses. The fall, I mean, if you have to sell your house any time of the year, but obviously in fall you have a whole subset of people that don't want to move their children out of school in the fall. Right. So they're not looking. They're looking now if they're going to make a transition, especially if it's to another town.
And I would say that, just to politely counter that, because it's mother-daughter and that's what you do, is...
Uh-oh, here we go.
It's not just about when you sell your house, it's pricing it right. Because if you price your house right at any time during the year, it will sell. Because people will be like, that's a great price, and that's a great location, and that's a great...
I can't pass it up.
Yeah, I can't pass it up. It's a great value. Yeah. So it's not just about timing. There's a lot of things that go into it. It's making sure that you're finding the right buyer, it's the right price, and it's the right time for the person. So it's also about making sure that CMA is right on. Because the thing with the CMA is that every real estate agent can do it. So if I'm the listing agent and I have this house listed and it's kind of crazy high, you as the buyer agent, so you're the person who's representing the buyer, can look up the same houses and the same comps that I did and be like, well, no, we don't need to buy that house. We can sell that. We can buy this house over here. So listing at the right price is the most important thing.
Yes. Now, if you're working with a buyer, what on the flip side of that, what tips would you might provide somebody who's looking to buy in this real estate market?
Have your finances in a row before you start really looking at a lot of houses. Go talk with a banker or your credit union or a mortgage broker and sit down with somebody and find out what you can afford. Don't go out and start looking at houses that you can't afford. Know what your credit rating is, know how much you can put down on the property, know the different programs, and sit down with somebody, and we can arrange that. If somebody was interested in buying a house right now, the first thing we'd do is we'd set them up with one of our mortgage brokers and say, let's go in, let's sit down, find out exactly what you can afford and everything else. Because a lot of people don't think of maybe student debt holding them back or other things, that those all factor into what your monthly payment is going to be. So that's the very first step for buyers, is sit down, call a real estate broker or talk with your local banker and find out how much can I afford.
And it's important to have those in a row, because when you're in the spring and you get, like, let's say you've got this really great property in Saco and people want it, and you're into a multiple offer situation, which is multiple people have put in to buy this house. If yours says, well, I'm subject to financing and I got to wait 30 days at the bank, and someone else's says, here's my bank note with my good credit, the person with the bank note and the good credit is probably going to get it, because people don't really want to wait, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And the last thing you want is to put a house under contract and then have it fall through. So, and then because you're just starting the whole process all over again, which we know, it happens. Those things happen.
But try to get everything lined up.
Try and get everything lined up when you're making an offer. We had this week, actually, a situation where we had multiple offers coming in on a house, and we were representing the buyer on it. And we actually advised them, on the price and how to present the offer, and, submit a letter along with it and telling their circumstances and everything. And they were successful. And they, so we're now under contract on it. But, those were the factors. It wasn't just the price. It was how soon can we close on it. And that's what people want to know when they're selling a house.
Now, Kate, you had mentioned you have a background in filmmaking.
Yes.
I've personally witnessed some of these filmmaking skills.
I think you have.
Now, how does that play a role into real estate? I mean, imagine there's some connection, especially with multimedia and different things like that.
I think the most important thing is just, it's really helped with staging the house and with pictures. People shop nowadays, they shop through Zillow, they shop through the main listing, they shop online. So your pictures are really what is key. And so a house that might have, like a dimly lit picture, or there's clutter, or something that just instinctively isn't as wow as like a really professional photo, it really does matter. And I think there's no other real way to put it except for there's a snobbery in terms of professional photography, because people assume that, oh, well, my house isn't worth this much, so I don't need to go out and have a professional photo taken. So it's like, that's not necessarily true, because even if you're selling a house at a lower price market, you've still got people that are shopping the same way, and you're still trying to advertise the same way. So I think from a film perspective, it's really about those visuals of getting those nice crisp pictures up online for people to go, that's a great house, or that's a great investment. Right. Or, I mean, even if it's a house that's a flip,
Right, you're drawn in with the visuals.
Yeah.
Well, just a quick little story on that. We were going through, because we check every single day, all the new listings and everything else. And Katie saw some pictures online of a new house, and she contacted the broker and, offered her services and said, I think I can go down and help you out. And he said, great. And so Kate's going down, and she's going to reshoot all the pictures for him. And he's, for really a nominal kind of fee. I mean, it runs anywhere from maybe $50 to $150 to have pictures done, because there's a lot of editing involved also. And that's one of the things that Berkshire Hathaway is going to. We were told the other day that they want all of our listings shot eventually. We're transitioning into that with a professional camera, and that's what's great with Kate. So she's been taking pictures for all of the people in the office now on their listings. And so, and for other brokers in the area, if they wanted to call Kate. And like I said, it's not very expensive at all. She could go out and she could take some pictures, and it really showcases what's going on. And Berkshire Hathaway is transitioning to make sure that all of our listings are showing as best as possible.
Now, speaking of Berkshire Hathaway, we have it right here, and you wore the colors. I'm just wanting to point out that. Why Berkshire Hathaway? Because obviously there's a lot of different real estate agencies, especially with you starting off new in the industry and you having so much experience. Clearly there was a reason why them.
Well, I think you're selling your house, so everything is really personal. And Greg Cloutier, when I sat and I interviewed with Greg Cloutier, I connected with him. I liked the way that he worked. He also works with his daughter Christina.
So
So
it's in the company.
yeah,
that
it's in the company. So it felt very much like a personal connection and a personal company that I could really like work with and would be supportive going forward as learning in the first years. And then when I hooked up with Berkshire Hathaway, Mom came along.
Yeah, and we decided to do the team. I was extremely pleased when Katie did go with Berkshire Hathaway. Greg Cloutier is in Rotary with my husband, Currit, and they're good friends. And especially with him and his daughter working together, it's an interesting dynamic because we our office is beside their office. We, have office space. And there's other people, of course, in Berkshire Hathaway. There's a lot of other brokers.
And that's across from Thornton, right?
Across from Thornton Academy. Yeah. And we will hear their little squibbles and their little squibbles. And it's fun.
It's like just like ours.
But,
but
working as a team, we're always, together. And lots of times people will call up and they'll say, Kate, will you, tell Linda this? And she's like, well, she's right here in the car. We're going out. We're putting out a sign. We're doing something. And of course, the main thing is that Berkshire Hathaway has the training. They have a fabulous training program, a large network of people. Berkshire Hathaway is owned by Warren Buffett, so he puts a lot of money and effort into it to make sure that we're selling a quality product, and that shows by Berkshire Hathaway being one of the first ones to come out and say we want professional pictures being done. We have a luxury division, so if somebody does have a higher price house, we do have a luxury division that can work with it. We have the commercial divisions, so they have a lot to offer as far as training.
Great. Now, if somebody wanted to contact either of you to either sell or to buy or to maybe even develop a property, what can they do?
Well, they can contact us through Facebook, through email. The phone number for the office is right there. I don't know if you can see it, but that's
Bam.
Yeah. That's the phone number for the office. Just ask for us.
But I would say at the office, we don't really have set office hours anymore. Everybody does it online. So the best way to contact us is to just call us. I'm sure you have our telephone numbers. Call anytime and text. The newer generation is better on text. We both text, we both do phone calls and stuff, and that's basically the way, is just pick up the phone and call us. And if you're looking to buy a piece of property, we'll set you up with a mortgage broker, do all of the preliminary work, see how you can, see how much money you can afford, and if you want to sell, we'll get right into gear, get them over to your property, whether it's a multifamily, single family, get that certified market analysis out for you. So all you have to do is pick up the phone and call.
And all that information, too, is on your website, valentinodevelopment.com, and
Yes.
also on your Facebook page,
Yeah,
so people
totally.
can check that. So it's all kinds of different mediums to communicate. Now, but as we wrap up our time together, the one question I think I get the most in Augusta is, how's Linda's mom doing? I think, and I'm like, oh, she's doing great, but I definitely want to give you this opportunity to kind of update everybody on how she's doing.
Well, Mom is doing great, and as you know, and as most of the viewers know, I loved being in Augusta. I loved the politics. I loved being the senator, but I really had to retire, and I'm so grateful that you're there, but to stay with my mother a couple of days a week. And Mom is actually coming to the closing with us today. I happen to be the seller, and Kate's the broker, so Mom's tagging along. She's doing great. She's very involved when we go out and we look at lots, because I have her 2 days a week. So if I have work to do, she's just in the car, and she comes to the open houses with us if we're doing it, and everything else. She still likes to shop. She gets very tired, but I really needed to be in Saco closer to her.
Right.
Being in Augusta, as you know, 5-6 nights a week, was not doing it. It was too much to put on my other sisters that I needed to step up. But Mom's doing great. says hi to everybody, especially to you.
Yep. Always nice to see her.
Yes.
Now, I would be remiss not to mention there are some rumors about your next big thing, potentially in politics. These could just be rumors, but I have to ask because this is Meet the Press. I'm just saying. So I've heard some rumors at City Hall that you might want to run for something local now that you are back in Saco full time and you're involved in the community still. So I just wanted to see if there was anything that's on the horizon.
Well, I must say that it's a little early, and I've heard the rumors also. I did not start the rumors. I'm not facilitating the rumors, but people, have asked me about running for something locally. And right now, it's way too soon. I'm back into real estate. I am 110% committed to my real estate career on that. But that being said, I think my daughter and I both have the political bug. She's worked for the Democratic Party for years. She's done activism. So in August, we may have one of us on the ballot, whether...
Okay.
Because Kate might dip into something on the council, or I could dip in, but right now we're 110% in real estate, and that's what we're focused on, and that's what we're here for.
So I'll take that as a maybe, so I'll mark that down.
No, I don't even think it's a maybe.
Never say no.
Right.
Right. As a good politician, you never say no, but
Okay.
I'm certainly not saying yes.
Well, thank you both for coming on. Good to see you guys,
Thank you,
and good luck on this new chapter. This is so exciting.
We're very excited about it, and just really grateful to be at Berkshire Hathaway, selling the real estate, and back dealing with what I used to do when I was Kate's age.
Well, there you have it, the mother-daughter duo of the real estate world, Linda Valentino and Kate Scamman. Thank you again for coming on the show. And thank you for watching Beyond the Headlines, where we connected you to the community through the Journal Tribune. I've been your host, Justin Jeanette. Stay tuned and stay connected.